Feels pretty good, really. Try it. Let's go around the barn and out the front.
Okay. One price. One.
Now you can go ahead and get in. There's your buddies over there, but you really need to get in the trailer. Same place every single time, horse. That was good. Now, just because of evening a horse out, I'm going to load from the other side. Now, it's counterproductive to what I want to get done because the horse turns the wrong way. But the point is that they're good in either eye. This is an angle trailer, 3-horse slant, so they need to stand over here. There. Now he's getting out really nice. When he jumped out that time, I got to tell you, it actually scared him. So he doesn't really want to jump out. Now I'm not going to stop, turn around and look at him and ask him to get in. That's the biggest mistake ever made leading a horse in a trailer. You get up to the trailer, then you stop and turn around and look at them. And they stop. Now you're dead in the water. This horse been rode outside a few times and it's coming along pretty good, but what I need to do is come back to some groundwork to get him. I need him better on the ground. I can ride him, but he's still worried on the ground, and I want to get him better about that. And I've already flagged him. I flagged him from a horse. I flagged him from the ground. I flagged him with a saddle on. And he just needs more of it, this particular horse. You can tell by watching him with the height of the skull that he needs more. And what I'm going to do with the flag on, with the tarp on the ground, is going to get his confidence up. Because this I can get taken care of. And incidentally, whenever you get over into that right eye like this, you want to be ready to be prepared to block the horse. If you've got a, when I first started him in this, I didn't do that. Now, I don't do this with them hobbled. I break all my horses to hobble, but I don't do this with them hobbled because I'd be setting them up to fail. And if they ever jump in the hobbles, then the hobbles are just a bluff. I don't want them to feel like they can jump through them. I like to keep them pretty good about this. This is the tarp that I do on the ground to start off with. And when I get to riding him with the tarp, this is the tarp that I'll carry. I've got a big tarp for what I'm about to do. I'll show you that. Now, something I want you to notice is you don't do this by holding a horse here. You got to allow him to sin. He needs to have some kind of release so he'll learn to stand on a nice loose rope. He'll be fine. And I don't sneak around him. a lot of this is just habit. Him thinking he has to do this. Tarp gets bigger while I work. I'm ready to block. If you watch the horse keep trying to get farther away from me, especially on the right side, I'll use my flag eventually. Now this is one of those horses that almost all horses, the head just drops down once the horse is onto it. He tends to keep his head up high for quite a while. I'm giving him a chance to make it through there. The height of the skull is a big part of this, but if I waited on that, I'd be here for 4 years. I'm just wanting to get him exposed to it. Because what you got to know, a lot of this stuff is just a habit. You just got a habit of being all worried about everything. Now he's going to be ridden with the flag and the tarp. That's just part of it. That's part of what happens around here with horses. He already knows what I want. I just need him to do it. Once again, this isn't done with your hand up under their chin. This is done with the horse having... You got to give the horse enough credit to understand how to do this without holding them like this and putting them over the tarp. We're in a round corral. If he runs off or gets away from me, he'll be right back, believe me. Now once again, I've got the horse with me when I do this. I'm not going to go tie him up, come back, set the tarp. That's part of the deal. He's got to get on the payroll. He's got to get used to this. So I think the point of the lesson today is you got to decide, is a horse genuinely afraid or is it just a habit? It's just a habit on this horse. He's used to spooking from things like this and thinks that that's acceptable. And I'm trying to show him with my demeanor, of course, not being bothered about anything, that you don't need to do that. He's also getting worked on the flag in what we call separation. In other words, you can rub a horse with a flag and then you can use it to move him. So the horse learns separation, the difference between stand still and move. It's two different things. In spite of himself, he dropped his head down. Stop it on the tarp. You notice the height of my flag again. Now remember, this is the same flag I was rubbing the horse with. He's been on the tarp. He's been worked on the ground with the tarp and the flag. His skull and his tight mouth are the two indicators that he carries with him. He seems to think that keeping that head way up in the air makes a difference. He's starting to figure out that it doesn't really matter. He's really good outside. He's a good traveling horse. I'm enjoying that part of it. Next I'll be packing him, dragging those rawhide panniers through the brush. That's always kind of a plus for getting the horse gentle. Around here we got mesquite and cat claw, your taller deals, and there's not a lot of give to them. They'll scratch pretty good on a panniard. Makes a pretty good deal for me. I typically don't go under here, but I've already worked this horse once, and he's indicating to me that he's doing pretty nice. So same thing. After I've worked him a time or two on this flag and tarp thing, I try not to sneak around them. I want to just act like it's just nothing, so it turns into nothing, is what I'm after. I don't want to betray them, but I do want them to understand the difference of the tarp and asking them to leave, moving their feet while the flag and the tarp is on them. You saw in the halflinger that kind of means something. See how high his skull goes? Well, like he figured out about me riding him, he can't get higher than my flag. He can raise his skull as high as he wants. It isn't going to pay off too good. Just doesn't work. There's the cricket. That's good news. That tickles me because this particular horse, for the last couple of weeks, he's been pretty tight-mouthed. Some horses never quit playing with it, but he was the opposite. And when they don't move it at all, and they've never had a snap on their mouth, and that's the same to me as running it all the time. It's just a different way of being under duress. So when they do start to move it, they're telling me they're starting to relax. I like all of them. They don't like this, but they got to get used to it. They got to do it. It's part of the deal for safety. Now, same thing. I haven't touched him with it yet, so I'm ready to set up here. I'll touch him on the hip and shut him down at the same time. Because what I don't need is I don't need some stampede and dink going around the corral 100 miles an hour. You don't get anywhere. All you're doing is making the horse sweat. And you're not teaching him anything except how to run off. Well, he's shutting down pretty soft. So once again, I get to work on that also. I'm going to get a little more wild with it. You know, I'm not stealing the ride. If you'll notice, there's slack in my lead rope. I'm not going to get a death grip on him and try to hold him, because you're not going to hold a horse this size. It isn't going to happen. just make him that much duller later on. Now, the tarp is right exactly where I set it. Head goes up. Now, what I've found over the last couple weeks is that this head just keeps constantly coming down a little bit at a time. So I don't pay much attention to it other than to mention to you about the MO of this horse. This horse is going to forget this over time. It's just something this horse believes it has to do. I've been here on the ground. I just assumed the feet were moving. I prefer to have the feet just walking. That's what I like. Later on when he calms down, which I'll feel through the seat of my saddle, I can have him stand still. But right now I just want him to move. Now I just get a little wild with it. Let him know he's going to make it. Now we'll just stop in the center. I can feel he's good. I'm not worried about him. Saw him look at it. I've had him over this tarp plenty of times. He knows how to walk over this tarp. So now it's just like I told you about the horse that's raised on the creek and then won't cross the creek. Well, you get on their back, sometimes they say, I can't cross the tarp anymore. There's the cricket. He knows it's pretty much over. Now on this horse, I've been 2 weeks, I think it is, and I've started the lateral work. I'm going to show you while we're here. I've got the right eye. Now I'm going to get the left eye. I'm going to bump that horse and give it back, and I'm going to put my right leg on and ask that horse to step across. Now I've got the right eye. I'm going to open my shoulder, put my left leg on, and ask this horse to step across. Then leave it alone. That Jordan Valley hop, that doesn't mean anything to me. That'll go away. What I'm doing is setting it up. Curve, left, and right turn. Reaches out with the front foot, that's all I want. So I'm going to the right, and I turn to the left. Yeah, that hopping is going to go away. My stop when I first start riding a horse, we've all doubled horses 1,000 times, but my stop after I'm riding a while is to lift straight up. I'm going to stop this horse now. I lift straight up with my halter. Right hand one time, left hand next time. Pretty soon my hand will be going here raising, and then just setting down. That's the transition. Thank you.